nonprofits, government, our foundations, our corporations, and businesses that are here today, we all collectively work together to bring transformational impact to our communities in Delaware. And so in effect, when we say how many people in Delaware does the nonprofit sector impact, it's everybody. So let's give ourselves a round of applause for the great work that we do. So if you don't know me, I'm Sheila Bravo, and I'm President and CEO of DANA, the Delaware Alliance for Nonprofit Advancement, and we are your hosts for today. But this conference is really all about you. It's about how to help your organizations sustain themselves in the future, so we hope that you will take the most that you can out of this conference, visiting with our exhibitors, meeting with each other, and attending our different workshops. Before we begin, though, I do have several thank yous that I would like to extend. And first and foremost, I would like to thank our conference underwriter, JP Chase, who really has been a tremendous partner with us for this workshop, or for this conference. But also, if you think about it, you've probably heard that we have been celebrating Nonprofit Impact Month for the entire month of April. And JP Chase has been helping us with that as well. So thank you, JP We also are very fortunate to have a great partner with Discover. And I'd like to thank Discover Bank, who is helping to underwrite and bring our keynote speaker here today, Steve Zimmerman. Thank you. This conference would not be possible if we didn't have tremendous partnerships with many of our businesses and nonprofit organizations in the state. So we wanted to thank Tech Impact, who is our technology sponsor today. We also, to help spread the word, we'd like to thank the Delaware Business Times and Delaware Public Media, who helped us share the news about our conference today. Thank you. We have some tremendous breakouts for today, and we want to thank Wisfis Bank, who is underwriting one of our signature workshops. And we also would like to thank our breakout sponsors, Christiana Care Health Systems, the Delaware Community Foundation, Insight, and Mutual of America. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our print sponsor, Coast to Coast, Print Coast to Coast. If you see those brochures, they do a fabulous job, and thank them for that. We also have, as you may have noticed, a fabulous lineup of exhibitors who are here today. Our showcase exhibitors are here in this room, and really appreciate their support. And we also hope that you will visit our exhibitors who are out in the main lobby. Many of them provide wonderful services to help us as nonprofits tell our message, keep our books in order, and all other kinds of things that you will find as you walk through the rooms. I'd also like to thank our donors who were gracious in providing some financial contribution to support our event today. And finally, I always just really want to give a shout out to our alliance partners. And our alliance partners are foundations and corporations that believe in the work that we do, and they help to provide support so that we can bring programs and training to the nonprofit sector throughout the entire year. So thank you to our alliance partners. I have my cards here so that I don't miss anything. I also would like to give a shout out to the DANA team who is here today. If you have any questions or need anything, they're walking around. They've got logos here. We've got Melissa Hopkins here today, Paul Stock. Paul, where are you? Jessica Bell there is taking lots of pictures. Louise Kuntz is in the back. And also would like to say thanks to my Kia Guy, who's been interning with us for these past several months, and you'll see her at the Share Delaware booth in the exhibitor area. We have some special people that are here with us today, and would just like to say welcome. Thank you for being here. Governor Carney is here, and he'll give us a few words later. Our new Secretary of Labor, Saran Cade, is he here? See him? He may not have arrived yet. Mayor Polly Sear. There she is, thank you. And of course, our keynote speaker did arrive, Steve Zimmerman, so glad he's here. After our presentation today, we have two different breakout sessions, and in the back of your name card will be some information that will guide you, and certainly I'll provide a couple of little more details after our presentations begin. But I am thrilled to turn this podium over now to our conference partner, JP Morgan Chase, and I'd like to invite Michelle Henry up, who is going to say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Michelle Henry, and I am a Community Relations Manager in the Office of Nonprofit Engagement at JP Morgan Chase, and I am super excited to be back here again with you this year to kick off the annual Impact Delaware Conference. This week, JP Morgan Chase released its annual Corporate Responsibility Report, which focuses on the extension of our model for impact. By leveraging our core business, providing skills and expertise, fostering collaboration, delivering data and analysis, and investing philanthropic capital, we are taking a strategic approach to expand access to opportunity and help more people move up the economic ladder. We are also increasing our commitment to building the capacity of community-based organizations and nonprofits to contribute to inclusive economic growth, and strengthening networks with peer institutions, civic leaders, elected officials, and other stakeholders who help shape the policies that directly impact the communities they serve. We provide this support because it helps community-based professionals stay abreast of current strategies and best practices, like those that you'll hear more about today, as well as emerging trends, so they continue to demonstrate excellence in their respective fields of work, and this vital sector thrives. I encourage you to take full advantage of this day. Sheila and her team have done a tremendous job in terms of planning and their thoughtfulness about the content. We're very, very proud to sponsor this event and partner with them. Please learn from each other, share best practices, question assumptions, and collaborate with your peers to design innovative new solutions. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Born in Wilmington and raised in Claymont, Governor John Carney has been working for the Delaware people for more than 30 years. He took office as Delaware's 74th governor in January of 2017, focused on making Delaware's economy more competitive, preparing Delaware's children to succeed, and building a long-term sustainable financial plan for the state. Working with Delawareans across the state and with members of the General Assembly, Governor Carney has made progress on each of those priorities. He has directed new resources to high-need schools, partnered with the private sector to drive new job creation, and taken steps to lower healthcare costs for Delaware families, businesses, and taxpayers. From 2011 to 2017, Governor Carney served as Delaware's lone member of the U.S. House of Representatives. During his 3 terms in Congress, he worked with members of both parties to find solutions to the most important challenges facing the nation. He supported the revitalization of American manufacturing through the Make It America agenda. He was a lead sponsor of the centerpiece of the Jumpstart Our Businesses, or JOBS Act, that made it easier for small and medium-sized businesses to grow and create jobs. Governor Carney also introduced legislation that was signed into law to prevent critical prescription drug shortages, and he was the lead sponsor on a successful bill to help veterans more easily enter the job market. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Governor John Carney.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Thank you for JP Morgan Chase for being the lead sponsor of this conference, and for, most importantly, for the 10,000 or so jobs that you provide for Delaware and across our state, and to all the sponsors who are making this event happen and for the jobs that you make available for our state. We thank you very much. It's exciting to be here with all of you this morning to kind of kick off the day for the Impact Conference, talking to people from nonprofit agencies across our state who are really making an impact on communities from Sussex County. I saw some of my friends from Sussex County. Where are the Sussex Countyans? I see a bunch. There are a lot of Sussex County folks here. You know, we joke all the time that Sussex Countyans think that we up here think it's twice as far from here to there as it is from there to here, because most of our meetings are up here in Newcastle County. But it's great to see all of you here this morning. You know, when I run into my friends across the state, they come up to me, and I was in Sussex County on Saturday, and they say, "Is being governor what you expected it to be?" And my answer is, I'm not sure what I expected it to be, but it's twice as hard. But even on a good day or bad day, I enjoy, in fact, I'm going to go from here to visit an elementary school to talk to the children. And if you can't get lifted up by a classroom full of 3rd and 4th graders, you need to check your heart at your cardiologist and make sure it's in there. But I was recently at the Head Start program in Wilmington last week. And I went there to read to the children. And we were reading Pete the Cat. How many of you are familiar with Pete the Cat? And his 4 groovy buttons, you know? My 4 groovy buttons. We had so much fun. And there were a couple little girls in there that they knew the answer to all the questions. They knew the song, they had memorized it, they were leading us right through it. One classroom, there was one girl stood out, everybody else was a little bit more hesitant. The second classroom, 4 or 5 girls, same kind of thing. They knew all the words to the song, they knew the answers to all the questions. And I was really impressed, and I thought about, you know, the challenges that they're going to face in their life. By definition, these are children from disadvantaged backgrounds, families, and struggling communities. After that, later that morning, I went out to North Star Elementary. People who know where North Star is, it's in one of our more affluent communities. And I was invited by 5 little girls who had developed a Save the Earth campaign in their school, 3rd graders. And they were talking about the fact that they needed to do away with some of the plastic bags and plastic forks in their cafeteria. And they were working on recycling, and they wanted to have biodegradable. They used the word biodegradable. And they were talking about climate change, 3rd graders. And how it was important that we not cut down too many trees because trees absorb carbon dioxide. They're telling me this. I asked them the question, why should we not cut down trees? Well, trees absorb carbon dioxide and emit oxygen. 3rd graders. And as I left, and it was a great visit, and I was really lifted up, but I thought afterwards about the differences between the 2 sets of students. Now, admittedly, the first group were Head Start children, so they were by definition 3 to 5-year-olds. And the second group were 3rd graders, as I said, so very different in that sense. But when I think about the communities in which they live, the families that they grow up in, very different environments. Our job, state government, nonprofit sector, all of us, is to make sure all those children have an opportunity to be successful in life. And that's where you and the state government and all of you have an important role in working together. Your keynote speaker, Steve, is here to talk about sustainability. I spent my whole year or so trying to talk to people across our state to develop a sustainable budget. Having a sustainable budget, do you think it affects you? It absolutely affects you. It affects the resources that the state government makes available to partner with all of you to lift up all those children across our state in every community that we serve, and to create communities where businesses can be successful. Because if you think about the most important thing in creating a sustainable budget on the state side, in creating a state that's going to be successful in the long term, and in creating an environment where all you are going to be able to sustain your programming and do effective work. Having a strong and growing economy is job number one. And whether you're in the arts and sciences, community development, housing, services for people with disabilities, services for our senior citizens, whatever it is, as we're competing for the 10,000 jobs that are now here at J.P. Morgan Chase, they didn't just arrive here one day. Gradually, decisions were made in the corporate headquarters as to where to place all those jobs in all the locations they have around the world. And there are other companies in here that support all of you that make those same decisions. I heard mention of Insight on the chart that was displayed about partners and the work that they do. A tremendously important to economic development story in our state. 500 or so employees now on the way to 10,000, taking over the old John Wanamaker's building and converting it into an important employment center. That helps our state's economy, but it also helps all of you. Not just the partnership that they create in providing resources and volunteers and all the rest and expertise, but also by their presence providing jobs for families. If we think about our objective, which is to lift all these children up, they have to have the education and the skills necessary to be successful in a more competitive world than ever before. And so your job is really incredibly important. Whether it's to make our Delaware a place where people want to live and work, where businesses want to locate their facilities, or whether you're helping those on the margin struggling to be part of the Main Street. And whatever you do, it's incredibly important to our success as a state. And my job, I was at North Star Elementary about a year ago. And I was talking to, I think, second graders that trip. John Sheila, my education advisor, was shaking his head at that. And there were about 15 of them, I guess, and they were all sitting in front of me except this one little girl. She was sitting right next to me. She was clearly in charge. And she made it known that she was in charge. And I was asking the questions, answering questions of the children and skipping around, and the little girl said, "Governor, we have questions for you, and they're on the board next to you. Could you?" And so I saw the questions, and there they were, and I started skipping around on the questions. And she said, "Governor, could you take the questions one at a time?" And I was skipping around because some of the questions were easier than others. And the next question was, what's the most important part of your job as governor? And I was avoiding it because I had run for governor, I'd been in Congress for 3 terms, I'd been lieutenant governor for 2 terms. I had never really thought about what's the most important part of the job that I'm doing right now. And fortunately, I got, I guess, divine inspiration at that moment, because I had to answer this question for these second graders. And it, in a moment, became clear to me that I don't do much directly. I usually evoke some kind of, you're being too nice to me. What I do is I enable other people to do their jobs better. And part of my job in that is to work together with all of you to enable you to do the work that you do better, and the work that we do together more effectively. And that's why I couldn't be happier to be with all of you, to thank you for the tremendous work that you do, to thank the sponsors and the employers who are here for supporting all of you. You're able to be successful and to have sustainable organizations because you get donations and volunteers for these folks that lift up our economy. They make our state strong by providing employment opportunities for the people who live here. If we're all working together and we get this going in the right direction, we can do anything that we put our minds to. And I just want to end by thanking all of you for the real privilege to be your governor.